situation, Glenda and so on. She's here rather than being in Des Moines. So, but I was to chair this meeting, so we'll just leave it that way. I'd like to bring this, the meeting of the oldest Lions Club in the world to order. And we will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. And Glenda, if you, since you're here, if you would give us the Pledge of Allegiance.
I've got a little technical problem here with the flags. Hang on. I got a little technical problem to get the flags up.
I got a hammer in the car.
No, it's my my computer decided that today it wanted to not work. It's going about as fast as a frozen molasses down a chute in January.
Well, shall we leave it for later on then and go ahead and
You put it up, Mark Hastings. Can you put the flags up?
No, I'm on my iPhone. Not on my computer. I can't do it.
Let me.
Well, we should know the pledges by heart, so why don't we do it anyway?
I can't.
Okay.
Just do it without a flag.
All right.
Flags.
Okay.
In fact,
I
I'm
pledge
gonna
allegiance.
do one more takeover.
Okay, stand up if you can, if you're able.
I'm not able.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
Flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
under God, indivisible, with liberty
and justice for all.
for all.
For all.
Honor the Texas flag.
I
I
pledge
pledge
allegiance
allegiance to thee,
Texas, one
one
state.
state, under God, one and indivisible.
Yeehaw!
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. Okay,
Thank you, Glenda. And
everybody else who helped.
There is a mute button on your computer if you use it.
how's that?
So there is a mute button on your screen if you'll use it.
Oh,
I'm muted.
yes, if everybody could mute their screen now. And we will have the welcome of, do we have some guests in the group? If you could introduce your guests. No.
I have a guest, but she is taking her sweet time getting out here. My wife Kathy will be joining us for this, but when she appears, you can in your mind say welcome.
We'll bring you back on. No other guests? We don't have any others? Any walk-ons? No?
First, Jerry Cow,
Yeah, I'm a walk-on, I guess. Sid and all of a sudden my Sid asked me to come today or told me about the meeting. So
well, wonderful. We're so glad you're here.
Glad to have you here.
thank you. Glad
And
you-
I see Jack Pierce is here. So hello, Dr. Pierce.
Hello, y'all. I thought I would listen in today and see if I can learn more about homelessness. We're working on indigent care right now for all the disadvantaged at this point. So this ought to be important.
Good day.
Thanks for
Thank you for
joining
letting me be
us.
here.
Thanks for joining.
Yes.
We have birthdays today. Let's introduce some birthdays. Lara Tyrene.
Yay! And their birthday is today.
Yes.
She's falling close.
And Susan Rose,
It's tomorrow.
Suzanne Rose, that's tomorrow. And I guess, or did we miss anybody? Would there be anyone else happen to be on the roster? Okay, we're going to have a member profile today, and that member profile is with by Siva. Then I'm not going to even tackle that. We'll just go with Siva. And Siva, if you would, if you'd go ahead and take it away.
Yeah. Can you hear me all?
I sure can.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Hello all. Good afternoon. Thank you very much for this opportunity. Thank you, Mim, for this wonderful opportunity. So let me introduce myself. One second. Yeah. So as you all know, I think at this time, my first name is Shivasankar, last name is Vankadaru. I'm from India. I'm in this country only this is my 8th year in United States. I'm originally from India. My hometown is called Vijayawada. It's close to southeast coast. So that's where I was born. That's where I grew up, and rest of my family and close family relations are still there in and around the zone. It's a tier 2 city, between tier 2 and tier 3 city, major city of India. It's not one of the major metropolitan city or something like that, but it's not a small town. It's in between. Uh, uh, so all my education from lower kindergarten to the undergrad degree done in my hometown. So I did my undergrad degree in business management, and then in my high school I selected mathematics, economics, commerce, and then for masters. My master's is not from my hometown. But it's not very far. It's just 25 miles away from my town. In a different town, I did my master's in computer application. And coming to my career and choosing career, I think at the beginning of high school, I kind of got fascinated to computers, computer world. I think some private organization came to my high school and gave some session on computers, all those things. I didn't understand back then what it is, but instantly I got fascinated to that. And back then, I think I kind of knowingly or unknowingly made my mind that my career should be something related to computer. And that's, I think, after a few years, after all my education, I am now in the computer programming profession. I'm in this profession for now almost 20 plus years. Through my job, I got opportunity to work 1 year in United Kingdom, close to London, some 40 miles to south to London city. One year I was there, and 1 year I was in Johannesburg, South Africa. Both are nice places. And in pursuit of long-term good career, I think like everybody in the world and all other countries, third world countries, like I'm also one of them, I should say. I kept pursuing getting visa to United States for a long time. So I got my visa in 2013, work visa. And then 2014, beginning of 2014, I flew to United States. I do freelance computer programming. So because of my nature of freelance projects, I got opportunity to travel so many cities. Actually, so many states, Atlanta, Nashville, California, in California, South, North, Bay Area, everywhere actually, Orange County, Los Angeles, Sacramento, and here in Austin, Philadelphia, Buffalo, New York, Cincinnati, Miami, all these places I got opportunity to travel for my work. I got opportunity to learn different cities in the United States, different cultures, different accents of United States. Like United States, different accents, in India, I don't know if you know, I'm sure if you know by this time, we have so many languages and so many dialects, and food habits. There's food habits also so much different between northern part of India and southern part of India, um, and languages differ so much. Right. And the next thing is, I think, coming to my association with Lions Club, this again starts my fascination to service and service oriented back then again when I was in my high school days. One of my known people used to work for a Rotary Club. And then I came to know about Rotary and Lions. Right. And then since then, I'm trying to get into international service organization, but I never get an opportunity. Even after moving to United States also, I tried to reach out. Especially when I was in Los Angeles, I tried to enter into the organization, but I don't know, it never worked out. But I think it's back in 2019 when I'm here in Austin. I moved to Austin 2018 May from Los Angeles. Funny thing happened because everybody know the climate of Los Angeles. It's never too hot, never too cold. So my body got used to it there. And when I moved Austin in 2018 May, first I think it was 8th or 9th when I arrived here. I don't know past, but based on last 3 years, it looks like that year has extreme heat. And the second, and I was eating outside initial days. So one day when I was at work, I got stomach pain. And I threw it out a couple of times in the entire day. I think it's because of extreme heat. Then I thought, oh my God, is this how 365 days the temperatures of Austin? I was scared. Why did I move to Austin? I didn't because I don't like anything extreme cold or extreme heat. I don't feel well if it is anything is extreme. So luckily, I think that's what my assumption was. I thought all 12 months are extreme heat, but luckily it's not. It's kind of actually both are extreme cold and heat. Especially this year, February, we have seen extreme cold and snow. So yeah, even after moving to Austin, also I had to go out of town for my work. Like I said, I do freelance projects, so it's hard for me to get a long-term project in one location. So in 2019 summer, I was actually free looking for in between projects, and that back then I was very bored at home, staying alone. Then I thought, okay, I should spend my time doing some service to the society. In addition to Lions, I'm closely associated to Austin Hindu Temple, and I do a lot of service there, but still I wanted to do more. As I said, I was in between projects and have plenty of time. Then I searched Google about Lions Club, and then the first thing came up is Austin Lions, our club, and I opened the website, and I don't know whose brain behind this and whose idea it is. Whoever implemented it's our website is excellent website. Anyone can register as a visitor to attend to meeting. Back then before pandemic, it's all in person. So that's how I registered myself as a visitor into the website. Register as a visitor to the meeting, one of the meeting in 2019 summer. Then I walked in to the to our meeting place. And the very first person I was interacting with was Judy Sal. And right after my meeting, she was kind enough to explain me how the club operates and work, and the different kinds of activities our club especially do. And I still remember the first meeting. I think that day Anne was showing a PowerPoint showing Lions Club, not as our individual club, but Lions Club International or Lions Club America, as such, how we helped the Houston flood relief activities and all those. I was very much attracted to that. So I took my time to join the club. I think I took 1 week to then Judy did all the work for me. She helped me to become a member of the club. She initially motivated me to back then in 2019 we were doing all this every Saturday. I vision services. So I was able to come into the vision service and help there and meet all other people, interact, get to know people, all other club members, and their past experiences with the club, how they serve. That was good. And I think I did not, so far, I did not get an opportunity to participate of fundraising events because ever since I became member, the fundraising event happens when I was again out of town for my another work. So I did not. I think hopefully this year I'll be part of fundraising events. But until then, it's only vision screening and the Friday morning, the food distribution. Those are the kind of services I'm in. And I think one time I went to the Texas camp in Kerrville to the clinic. So that's all my association and activities so far I've been with us. But I'm looking forward to do more. But right now, my work is busy, but I'm still trying to get and do more services. And
recording progress.
Stephen, we're gonna have to move on here. You could wrap.
Yeah, I'm done actually. Yeah, I'm done.
Okay. Very good. I appreciate it, and we love to have you with our club. You're a great asset to it. We'll step aside now from that, and we'll go to if Anne could give us a little upgrade on our clay shoot.
Okay, thank you. And I just want to say we're very grateful to have Siva in our club, and he has been to Texas Lions Camp and helped last year with work days. It was great. Anyway, we have sporting clay. It's a week from tomorrow. I can't believe it. And I have very happy news to report to everyone. This week, we brought in more than $10,000 in sponsorships and teams. So I was pretty down last week. I have to be honest, it was not looking too good, but things have definitely picked up.
Oh, that's great.
And I do want to give a shout out to my committee members. Everybody has just really stepped up to the plate. Tommy Cowan has helped get prizes and teams, and he's going to be running the flurry for us next Friday. Jim Roberson, he has done an incredible job. He personally has gotten involved, and he was able to get the ammunition we need. And that is apparently a very big deal right now because of the pandemic, the supply chain has gotten messed up, and Capital City has not gotten any shells delivered since January. So we're very, very fortunate that we got the ammunition, because it would be pretty hard to have it without that. Mac Ragsdale has been a great member of our committee, and we're glad to have him. We had our NFL alumni partners. We have JDRF who are working with us, and we're just doing a great job. Robert Watson and Glenda have been sitting in on the committee meetings, helping us wrangle some food. And also, I wanted to give a special shout out to Cameron Labunsky. You don't see him most of the time. He doesn't really get to participate in meetings. He's got a really busy work schedule, and he's a father of 3 young kids, and all of his family got COVID about a month ago. And so he has been kind of sidelined, but this week he started dialing for dollars, and he came through for us. So I want to give a special shout out to Cameron.
Yeah.
If you, yes, let's give him a round of applause. If you plan to help me next Friday at the event, please let me know. We're gonna need to be out there around 8 a.m. To get everything set up, because breakfast starts at 9. I'll probably get there a little after 7, so a few people will be coming a little earlier, but I think if most people were there by 8, we would be doing good. We will set up at 4:30 on Thursday, the 16th, and I need some strong, able-bodied people to help put up the canopies, and it's a bring your own hammer event. So if you can help with that, bring your hammer. This Saturday, we are selling raffle tickets at McBride's from 10 until 3, and Jim is going to coordinate that. And y'all have got a stiff bar to measure up to. Glenda and I sold $1,025 when we did it a couple of weeks ago. Yay, Glenda.
Yeah.
So Jim, we'll see how you and your team do. But it's turning out to be a really good tournament. And I think the most, to me, the most important things that I'm seeing is people that are not able to come this year are saying, you know, I can't come, I'm out of town, whatever, but keep me on your list for next year. So I think that's important. And also the fact that we moved up, 3 of our sponsors moved from much lower levels, like 2 of them went from a $500 sponsorship to a $1,500 sponsorship. So I think that says something about our event. And, you know, the people like Jim Overton and Tommy Cowan and Cameron and the people that have worked on this tournament for the previous 9 years have built this up to a really good event. And I'm just glad that we can keep it going this year. And I think next year we'll come back even stronger. So next Thursday, 4:30, we're doing the setup. Friday, the 17th is the event. Please be there by 8 a.m. And then this Saturday, if Jim, I think Jim has kind of already been in touch with people, but we just need to sell those raffle tickets. And I forgot to say one thing. We have 20 teams registered, and I have 7 station sponsors, and many of you in the club are sponsoring stations. And I want to say thank you to each and every one of you. Any questions?
Tommy.
Yes. Yes, Tommy.
Let me. Well, can you hear me? I doubt you can.
Yes.
Yes.
No,
Oh, you
we
can.
can hear you.
Oh, perfect. You had mentioned members sponsoring. James Perry, member of the club for years, has gotten into a new business, but he called up and wants to be a station sponsor. So that was $200 we picked up this morning. So we're working our way along.
We are.
Wonderful.
Thank
Great.
you.
Fantastic.
Can I also
More
say
questions
that
for Ann?
Tommy Cowan and Sam Reese is also joining me on Saturday. So hopefully we can beat that $1,025 that Linda and Ann did.
Oh, it's a challenge.
Yeah,
It is.
Any other questions for Ann or with regards to the clay shoot? Okay, without any further ado, I think we'll move on. And John, if you could introduce your guest, and we're all looking forward to hearing his presentation. Thank you.
May I ask that everybody mute so that we don't get background noise?
Thank you very much. I'm happy to say that Founder Lions Club is honored today to have our speaker come to be with us. Alan Graham is founder and CEO of Mobile Loaves and Fishes and Austin Social Outreach Ministry, committed to providing permanent, sustainable solutions for the chronically homeless people who live among us. Since its founding in 1998, Mobile Loaves and Fishes volunteers have served more than 5 million meals to homeless men and women in the streets of Austin. One outgrowth of the services that are provided by Mobile Loaves and Fishes is Community First Village, a growing master planned neighborhood of affordable housing for over 200 previously chronically homeless individuals. The community is currently experiencing expansion to serve more of our Austin neighbors. It gives me an honor to ask you to please welcome Alan Graham, who will tell us about his adventure in this compassionate and dignified humanitarian service. Welcome, Alan.
Welcome.
Awesome. Thank you, John. I really appreciate that. John and I actually go back quite a ways, maybe as far back as the 1980s, if you remember those days, John. And today, actually later on tonight, we're launching our campaign to announce that we have served over 6 million meals. So that's a big deal for us. What I thought I would do would start with a video that is a video tour of our village. And I know a few of you are going to be coming out on Saturday, and I look forward to that tour. But I'd like for us to watch this video, which will give you a great idea as to the movement that we have all collectively begun here in Austin, Texas. So I'm going to start this and
Welcome to Austin's most talked about neighborhood, Community First Village. Located in Northeast Travis County, Community First is designed specifically for men and women who are coming out of chronic homelessness. The average age of neighbors living here is 58 years old, and the average amount of time each resident has spent living on the streets is about 10 years. Before guiding you through the neighborhood itself, let's first talk about Mobile Loaves and Fishes, the developer of Community First Village. Mobile Loaves and Fishes, or MLF, is a nonprofit founded in 1998 as a food truck ministry focused on serving meals to men and women living on the streets. MLF founder and CEO Alan Graham, along with 5 friends, boldly answered God's call to simply love your neighbor, literally starting MLF's meal serving operation out of the back of a green minivan. In the years ahead, as the food truck ministry continued to grow and deliver meals with a side of hope to Austin's homeless neighbors, Graham and team came to understand what today is one of Mobile Loaves and Fish's core beliefs, that the single largest cause of homelessness is a profound, catastrophic loss of family. Mobile Loaves and Fishes had become more than just a food ministry, realizing that its food truck, supported by thousands of volunteers, helped open a door to community and relationships where they were needed most. With this realization, the vision had been cast for a new kind of community, one built for the despised, the outcast, the hopeless, and the abandoned. Our homeless neighbors needed a place they could call home. Community First Village is a 51-acre master plan development that provides affordable permanent housing along with a supportive community for men and women who are transitioning out of chronic homelessness. Driven by a vision to empower the broader community into a lifestyle of service with the homeless, everything you see around the village is designed to foster relationships. One of the first things you see when entering the village is the neighborhood's large outdoor movie screen and amphitheater. The space can hold about 400 guests and provides the perfect setting for regular movie nights or other special events hosted at the village. Surrounding the amphitheater is the village's bed and breakfast operation known as the Community Inn. This eclectic mix of tiny home and RV units is open to the public for reservations through Airbnb or directly through the Inn's website, making it possible for guests from around the world to experience Community First Village firsthand. In addition to providing guests with a unique overnight stay, the Inn also provides work opportunities for some of the men and women living in the village. Their work with housekeeping and landscaping around the Inn helps them earn a dignified income for their services. Just past the amphitheater and Community Inn is an on-site Capital Metro bus stop. With direct access to mass transportation, neighbors have an easier time getting around to other parts of the city as needed. Across the street from the bus stop is the Topfer Family Health Resource Center. This on-site clinic, managed by MLF Partners, is the primary spot in the village where neighbors have access to integrated physical and mental health care services. Because of the clinic, men and women living in Community First Village can get many of their healthcare needs addressed on site. Right next door to the clinic is the community market, a small convenience store of sorts. The market makes it possible for neighbors to purchase small grocery items and other basic needs. Importantly, the market is also a central hub for showcasing and selling the products and goods created by different artists and makers who live in the village. The handcrafted gifts you see in the market come out of Mobile Loaves and Fish's Community Works program. Community Works provides opportunities for our formerly homeless neighbors to rediscover purpose and use their God-given talents to earn a dignified income. The program includes an art house where pottery, jewelry making, and fine art are brought to life, a blacksmith shop where one-of-a-kind metalworks are produced, and a wood shop where carpentry skills are put to use. Whenever a product is purchased, the Community First neighbor who made the product earns 100% of the profit from the sale. Community Works also includes different contract-based services around the village, such as groundskeeping and gardening, catering and concessions, or housekeeping and janitorial services. It even includes a car care operation, which is located just past the market in the village's very active maintenance building. Need an oil change or a car wash? Community First Car Care provides our neighbors who have a passion for servicing cars an opportunity to be of service to you. As you leave the maintenance building and move a bit deeper into the village, you're now entering a part of the neighborhood affectionately referred to as Tiny Town. This part of Community First is home to a diverse array of tiny homes, about 130 of them, designed and constructed by some of the city's most talented architects and builders, and arranged in such a way to help foster community among neighbors. Since none of the tiny homes has plumbing or full kitchens, this area of the village is connected to 5 outdoor kitchens. Residents have access to the kitchens anytime they want, providing them a spot where they can make great meals together and connect with other neighbors, human to human, heart to heart, through the fellowship of food. Neighbors in Tiny Town also have access to 5 nearby laundry, restroom, shower facilities. These buildings provide private showers and restrooms, along with mini laundromats where residents can do their laundry however often they please. You might realize by now there's a little of everything in Community First Village. Other amenities around the property include a library that's open throughout the week, a tucked away chapel for social and spiritual connection, a barber shop for that occasional haircut, an on-site grill for delicious burgers and other meals, an outdoor dining area that we call the community table. We even have a dog park in the neighborhood for the many four-legged friends who live here as well. There are 3 overarching rules that neighbors living in Community First Village are expected to follow. The first rule is that you must pay rent. Depending on the unit, rent at the village ranges from around $230 a month up to about $440 a month. The second rule around the village is that neighbors are expected to obey civil law. And the third rule is that individuals need to follow the rules of the community itself, much like the guidelines put in place by a homeowners association. There are more specifics around rules that are managed by the Community First property management team, but so long as an individual keeps up with these 3 overarching rules, they will always have a permanent home in Community First Village. As you come around the bend on Goodness Way, you encounter the village's memorial garden. This area of solitude and reflection offers a reminder that there is always hope and that there is always grace and mercy at the foot of the cross. We celebrate life here too. A nearby columbarium helps honor and remember former neighbors who have passed away. Men and women who live in Community First Village know that they are always family, in life and in death, and that they will always be remembered for a life well lived. After the Memorial Garden, you encounter the centerpiece of Community First Village's farming and organic gardening operation, known as Genesis Gardens. With more than 2 acres of cultivated land, the gardens provide neighbors with healthy, nutritious produce that's available at a free farmers market on the weekends. The village's robust gardening program is supported by numerous volunteers who are teamed up with Community First neighbors while they work the land together. So beyond just healthy food, the gardens provide a way for meaningful relationships to be cultivated as well. Near the gardens and on the side opposite Tiny Town in the village is the RV section of Community First. This area of the property includes 100 RVs, all 1-bedroom units, which, different from the other tiny homes, do have plumbing. Each RV unit has a full kitchen as well as a full bathroom. In addition to rent, residents who live in RVs also pay for electricity and propane use. This brings us to the edge of Phase 1 in the village, but not quite the end of your tour. Come with us for a moment as we look at Phase 2 of Community First Village, which is immediately next door. Under development since late 2018, Phase 2 is the first expansion of Community First Village and makes room for just more than 300 new homes. This side of the property includes 7 additional outdoor kitchens and also 7 more laundry, restroom, shower facilities. Phase 2 also includes space for an eventual 6,000 square foot living room that neighbors will be able to use, another acre for gardening and aquaponics, as well as a new 8,000 square foot facility dedicated specifically to the Community Works program. Teams of builders, volunteers, and other MLF partners have been busy at work constructing another 200 uniquely designed tiny homes across the scenic landscape. 6 of the homes are even 3D printed, something currently not done anywhere else in the country. Another 100 homes on Phase 2 offer the newest housing option in the village, known as the Park Model RV. Like all homes in Community First Village, when a neighbor moves in, they receive a fully furnished homestead, one that they have chosen, complete with a fully stocked pantry and refrigerator, and even decorated with their preferences in mind. We see home as something much more than a structure with 4 walls, a bed, and a roof overhead. At Community First, we aim to move our formerly homeless friends into a place they are proud to call home. The first neighbors began moving into Phase 2 during the summer of 2020, and the projected completion date for this phase of the village is currently planned for mid to late 2022. Before leaving the village, it's hard to overlook our largest building on the property, known as Unity Hall, a place that's often abuzz with activity. This 2-story building serves as a central hub in Community First Village. It includes a sanctuary and multi-purpose room, commercial kitchen, property management and resident care offices, and is headquarters for the entire Mobile Loaves and Fishes team. What's happening at Community First Village has become an unprecedented collaborative movement, a revolution in goodness, if you will, and promises to have a continued transformative impact on homelessness in Austin, Texas for generations to come. We invite you to join the movement and be part of something that truly will echo throughout eternity.
Very good.
Well, awesome. So again, I appreciate being here just to touch on a few things, and then I'd love to open it up for questions because I'm anticipating in the world that we live in today that there's going to be a lot of questions. That Phase 2 that you looked at is a little bit over halfway built now. That video is about a year old, and we should be completely finished with that by the end of 2022. During 2020, we acquired 51 acres of land across the street from where we are here in Northeast Austin, and another 76 acres over on Burleson Road. Those two properties are in the middle of the permitting process, and we'll add another 1,400 homes to the inventory here for our chronically homeless brothers and sisters. And we're anticipating breaking ground sometime around next summer when those permits drop. We're at the very beginning phases of launching a very large capital campaign. Phase 3 and 4, the 1,400 homes, plus all the buildings and the farming operation and everything, will take about $150 million to construct, and that will happen, over about a 7 to 9 year period of time. We have an extraordinary success rate. We've been replicating this all over the country now. We've had over 400 people from 150 different cities representing 33 states come to Austin to participate in one of our symposiums. And at my last count, there's about a dozen replications happening around the U.S. The latest one was in the Central Valley in California, in Tulare. We just got back a couple of weeks ago, for their grand announcement and fundraiser. Anyway, I'd love to open this up to questions, hoping that y'all have a whole bunch of them. And thank you for allowing me to be in front of you today. Hit me with the questions.
JP, go ahead.
Yes, sir. Alan, thank you for the great presentation. We're somewhat familiar, some of us are somewhat familiar with the village already, but this was a great visual tour. My question has always been, and maybe is easily answered, what qualifies and how do you judge who gets admitted to one of the facilities there?
That's a great question. Our ministry is focused entirely on the chronically homeless. This would be an unaccompanied male or female, no children, with a disabling condition, having lived on the streets of Austin for at least 1 year, are episodically homeless, adding up to a year over a 3-year period of time. As the video stated, but I'll repeat it, the average age out here is 58 years old. The average time on the streets is 10 years. 65% of our neighbors have 2 or more comorbid diseases. The average age of death is under 60 years old. Just this past weekend, we had one of our neighbors at the age of 46 pass away in bed at home. And so it's an extraordinarily vulnerable, fragile group of people. To get here, and you can also look at our website on how to apply for a home, but it lists 3 processes. One would be going through our city's homeless management information system to get a coordinated assessment. And this assessment helps ascertain your level of vulnerability, being on the streets. Then you must come out to the village for a prospective neighbor tour. We do those twice a month as well as virtual. We have a little bit shorter video, not dissimilar from the one that you saw for that new neighbor tour. And then if you like what you see, then you would fill out an application for us. Once that application is fully complete, you actually get on our list, and probably average wait time on that list is about 180 days, 6 months. Good question, JP. Thank you.
And thank you for the response. That clears things up for me.
I have a question. What kind of financial help do you get from any of the government agencies, like the city of Austin or the state or the federal?
We are overwhelmingly privately funded. We believe very powerfully that the government should play a subsidiary role to you and I in mitigating these profound human issues. We believe that the single greatest cause to homelessness is a profound catastrophic loss of family. And we believe that housing alone will never solve homelessness, but community will. So the community aspect of it is very critical. We have, back in April, the city council voted on these next two phases to waive about $4.3 million in development fee waivers for us. And we also passed a bill in the last legislative session, House Bill 115, that will exempt all of our properties from the payment of real property tax. And that will save us about $1 million a year in operating expense. We are also working, as we speak right now, with the Travis County on part of some funding that they have received through the federal government in the American Rescue Funds. But we don't go after HUD funding, that federal type funding, but we work with a lot of partners that are on site that receive a lot of funding from government. So good question. Thank you.
Alan, Gaylord Armstrong here. I'm sorry I've had my hand up, but I guess I just need to speak up. But bottom line, tell us a little bit about your population. I'm sure the video, by the way, which is very well done, that is a very compelling video, and congratulations and thank you for all that you've done over a long period of time for so many. What is the population of the community now? Tell us about your percentage of turnover and what will your population be with the two new sites under development?
We currently sit at about 300 men and women on the property. 80% of those are formerly chronically homeless. 20% of the population are folks just like you and I that have never been homeless. We have titans of industry, physicians, nurses, school teachers, hairstylists, on and on, that live in the village alongside of the men and women, and they're called spiritually to do so. When we finish phase 2, by the end of next year, our population will be up to about 550. When phases 3 and 4 are done, we will be somewhere in the 1,900 to 2,000 people range.
Wow. That is just outstanding, and God bless the people that are supporting you, including glad to see the legislature step up and help you, as well as the city of Austin. Is the property inside the city limits, by the way, or is it in Travis County?
It is very intentionally in Travis County. And so where I'm sitting right now in the middle of phase 1 and 2 actually shares a property line with the city of Austin, and the Burleson Road property is similar, but inside the ETJ.
Thank you. And God bless you. And the
Thank
people
you.
that support you.
Thank you.
I have a question. Thank you for everything you're doing. That's amazing. My question is the village meant to be a stepping stone for the residents to go on to another living situation, or may they stay forever?
No, this is meant to be permanent for them. Gaylord, you actually asked a question about the turnover rate, and I didn't answer that, but we have about a 15% turnover annually. The preponderance of that is due to death. And then very few people move on to another housing opportunity. That would be typically Section 8. And typically when people move on to Section 8, about half of them will return because our community environment here is pretty extreme, a good extreme. very small percentage of people reconnect to family. And then periodically we have to excommunicate people out of the village on behavioral issues. But this is meant to be permanent. And as you saw in the video, you could even live here for eternity if you choose those end of life documents to be buried here.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Actually, kind of two. I heard that there was a lottery to get into one of the homes, and also if you could address that. And also, does this help some people reconnect with their families?
I don't know what the lottery deal is. It's not a lottery to get in. You really just get on the list and start moving up the list once you are complete with your application process. What was your second question?
Does this help some people reunite with families that they've been disconnected from?
Yeah, it does. It doesn't always turn out great. Usually those disconnections were pretty traumatic and involve lots of issues, mental health issues, abuse, adverse childhood experiences with drugs and alcohol piled on top of that. But periodically those miracles happen. They're just not as often as we'd love to see them.
Thank you.
Sandy has a question. Sandy?
Yeah, I have a question. You said no children, but there are whole families that are homeless. Can any families move in there?
In the definition of a chronically homeless person that I read to you, it's an unaccompanied male or female. There really are no such thing as chronically homeless children on the streets. If I see them, you're going to immediately call Child Protective Services and they're going to be removed.
Well,
we don't deny that there are at-risk families out there that are, say, living in their car temporarily, transitionally homeless, in the Walmart parking lot. But it's not a lot. They're very few in number, and there are quite a few resources in order to be able to do that. Our model is meant really for the most despised outcasts, and these are the men and women that you see under the bridges and on our street corners. Good question, Sandy.
I have a question. Beverly, what about the problem of mental health? You were saying mental health, drugs, and alcohol. How do you deal with that? Do you have any sort of AA meetings or outreach or?
Well, those are two issues. So on the mental health side of things, we have on site 10 full-time employees with Integral Care. Integral Care is the Travis County Mental Health Authority, been around for decades. And then every staff member at Mobile Loaves and Fishes has been mental health first aid trained. And so we welcome people that are battling a mental health diagnosis. And when people get up out of the streets, they're able to really deal more effectively with their mental health issues.
Right.
There are times, periodically, but rare, when one's mental health issue is beyond our ability as a community to manage. That doesn't happen often, but a couple of times over the past 6 years it has, and we have to ask people to leave. Very difficult to institutionalize people. We welcome the active addict here. We have a number of them. What the studies that we've done over 6 years internally is that there's an 80% drop in drug use from the streets to the village and about a 60% drop in alcohol from the streets to the village. Recovery, a complete recovery, the way that you and I understand it, is extraordinarily elusive. It's elusive in our population of people amongst us here, and it's even equally, if not more elusive to men and women that have battled those things for decades. We do have a lot of resources, AA, NA meetings, Celebrate Recovery, and other resources that are available to us when people want to. But I got to tell you, I wouldn't put an optimistic pin on the recovery side of those things.
Oh,
Okay, Alan,
Yes.
this is Dr. Jack Pierce. I have a question for you. You've addressed the mental health aspect of it, and you do have healthcare facility there. My question really is, how do these people obtain healthcare? Is it through Central Health? Do they go to another facility? How does that work?
Jack, the healthcare situation for people who live in poverty in general is pretty poor, and it is for us. It's on the primary health side, we do have community care through Central Health out here 2 half days a week. We're in the process of trying to reinvent our clinic as we speak, because we have a lot of people that want to come out and serve both primary health, dental health, physical therapy, podiatry, that want to be out here and help us. And so we're kind of in the middle of redeveloping a strategy to see if we can make our little 2,500 square foot clinic far more effective. Now, 70 to 80% of our neighbors that are out here are on SSI or SSDI, and they're going to be eligible by receiving those benefits to either Medicaid or Medicare. And then obviously, with our average age being out about 58 years old, there's a number of people out here in the retirement age, so Medicare is going to be a great opportunity for them. And when that happens, that just opens the door to a lot of healthcare. But for those that aren't, it's really just putting a Band-Aid on a carotid artery bleed, and we do our best.
Alan, could you give us a little rundown on the tour for tomorrow, for Saturday?
Well, the rundown would be simple. I think that y'all are meeting out here at 2 o'clock, and it'll take us about an hour to an hour and a half to do that tour. We're going to start on phase 2. Depending on the numbers, it'll be primarily a walking tour. We do have a golf cart. We have lots of golf carts, but it'll primarily be a walking. So dress comfortably and wear comfortable shoes, and come hydrated. And so it'll be a lot of fun. You'll go inside our entrepreneur hub. We'll tour inside a few of the houses. You'll see our farming operation. I'll take you inside the market. It'll be a fun time.
That's good.
Alan, I have a question, Alan.
Yes, John.
The services that you provide are certainly central to Christian theology. And a number of you and your founders are out of the Christian tradition. But as I understand, you are non-sectarian at the community. Would you explain a little bit about that? Because you certainly provide spiritual services and support as well.
Well, the founding of the organization, Mobile Loaves and Fishes, by me, happened out of my church, St. John Newman Catholic Church in Westlake Hills. I'm completely motivated, and our organization is motivated by our love of God. We are not proselytizers, and we adhere to all of the 501c3 laws at every nonprofit, which is we don't discriminate against anyone for all the things that you can't discriminate one for. And so there's no judgment here about people, no matter what their faith life is. We got it all. We love it all. And we're going to love everybody, no matter what that what their spiritual life may be. And that's our bottom line. And so, I adhere to a philosophy of St. Francis of Assisi, which preach the gospel often and only when necessary, use words. So keep your mouth shut and love on people. And then I'm counting on God to sort out all the bullshit that we have down here on earth. How about that? Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Alan Gaylord Armstrong again. I'm sorry to take so much of your time and the Lions Club time, but what a marvelous project and undertaking. Two things. I was trying to follow you when you said 20% of the population at the community were not from the homeless list, but might be business people, professionals that live there and assist in some way, and if so, how? But tell us about your fundraising, which just has to be terribly successful given the tremendous amount of money and support you've gotten. And without giving away any secrets, all of us that are involved in and been involved in fundraising, which is so painful, you've obviously done a marvelous job. And what hints would you give us?
Well, we don't do any fundraisers. You'll be surprised to hear this, but we would rarely ask anyone for money. We do not treat people like an ATM machine, and it's very deeply relationally oriented. And our way of raising money is to bring people out here into the village and see the contrast between what's on our street corners and under our bridges and lining our alleyways and streets and downtown, and contrast that what appears to be hopeless to the extraordinary hope that's out here. And if you're called to become a part of our vision and mission out here, which is what our hope is, it will you will ultimately ask us, what can you do for us? And then we'll lay out for you the banquet table of opportunities that are here to meet you wherever you are financially. One of the streets, and the street that I live on here in the village, is called Heart Over Pocket. And that represents our fundamental development philosophy, is that we are first going after your heart. And then we believe that your pocket will follow to the degree that that you're called to do that. And yeah, it's been extraordinarily successful.
That is a marvelous technique to show people what they're supporting. That's congratulations. And repeat again, if you would, the 20% that are not homeless, that may be retired or otherwise business people or professionals that live there and assist in some way. Is that correct?
That's correct. These are called, we call them missionals. There's quite a bit of information on our website about missional living. It actually takes about 9 months to a year for someone to discern that they're going to live out here. You just can't call us up and go, hey, I want to move out here. It's a very deep and committed discernment process built spiritually, Christian tradition, discernment process. You don't have to be Christian to do that, but that's what we know. So that's how we do it. These are men and women that are going to live here. We had for 6 years, up until very recently, the president of Tokyo Electron, one of the largest companies in the world that manufactures equipment to manufacture semiconductors, and his wife lived here. And again, physicians, school teachers, and whoever. You can be retired, people that just want to love to be out here. My wife and I live here. We've been here for 5 years, sold our home of 34 years in Westlake Hills. And I'll tell you, this is the most extraordinary neighborhood I've ever lived in.
Well, congratulations again, and thank you for what you do.
Thank you. Mac, I see your hand up.
Thank you. Very mundane question. Infrastructure. Lots of roads, there's electrical, there's water and sewer, and those are usually public services. How do you handle it?
Well, everything, I mean, everything is, partnered with City of Austin utilities, water, sewer, electric. Everything's done internally. And we have engineers and commercial constructors and all of that doing all the design work for those facilities. And then, we tap into the utilities that are available at the edge of the property, just like any real estate developer would do that. You come out here, the road, I mean, all the utilities are underground, water, electric, sewer, roads are paved, it's, curbed. It's a beautiful place.
Yeah.
Another question. Somebody.
One more
I have a quick question, if that's okay.
Yeah, sure.
It sounds like you're very realistic about the struggles of addicts. And so I was wondering, do you forbid drugs and alcohol on site, or do you tolerate it, or is it grounds for dismissal?
It's not a matter of forbidding it. We don't have that power. That's a criminal issue that belongs, in the criminal justice system. I have no way and no power to search and seize or do any of that kind of thing. I will tell you, in the world that we live in today, drug users are at the lowest level of the totem pole in terms of law enforcement. There's really nothing being done in that area. The toleration that we have is that, there are three fundamental rules to live here. It's number one rule above all rules is you must pay rent. You don't pay rent, you don't get to live here. And that's simple. And people that pay rent have a vested interest in the community, and they actually take care of and look out for the community. The second rule is you must be civilly obedient. What you're doing in the privacy of your own home, just like you get to do whatever you want in the privacy of your own home. Nobody's going to come in there and hassle you. But if your bad behavior, spills out into the community, that's when we collectively are going to begin to deal with that. We do have an extraordinary amount of grace and mercy with the men and women that are here because they come from extraordinary backgrounds. But one of the things that we added about 3 years ago was a restorative justice practice out here in the village. So when there is misbehavior, particularly when there's a victim and a predator in that misbehavior, we force those people into a restorative justice deal in order to be able to heal whatever it was that happened. So look, I'll tell you that, I live here. It's the most extraordinarily place that I've ever lived. It's extraordinarily peaceful with an occasional side salad of tension. And that's, it's like your family's all getting together at Thanksgiving and the kids start yelling at each other for whatever their differences are. It's just a big old family out here, and every now and then a fight will break out. We got to deal with it. So, but there's no gunfights at the OK Corral here. So.
Yeah. Alan,
I'd like to ask one question. How is, since you're so dependent on the relational, how has COVID affected that kind of environment? I'm sure you've been restricted in many ways.
Yeah, I mean, 2020, look, we had our best financial year ever in 2020. It was incredible, but we girded ourselves for what we thought was going to be the worst, but it didn't turn out that way. I find the isolation devastating to the human person. We will not go down the 2020 route. again. And so, look, we've encouraged everybody to vaccinate. That's our number one deal. If you're not a vaxxer, we're, asking people to social distance and mask up. And things have been going good. I tell you, we didn't have one COVID case in the entire 2020 year. We've had a few now with this second wave of stuff. But most of it is from our vaccinated friends, and they're doing fine. So we're just encouraging people to vaccinate, and it's business as usual out here.
One of the rules is paying rent. So where do most of the previously homeless people get their rent money from?
Well, good question. 70 to 80% are on SSI or SSDI. So they will have an income source to pay from there. And then we have a number of micro enterprise programs on site that this year alone, our neighbors will earn in excess of $1.2 million. And so they're doing everything from artwork, ceramics, car care, silk screening, organic farming, property beautification, all of that stuff.
You mentioned car care. So can people bring their cars in for service?
You can bring your car care to get the oil changed, to get a state inspection and get a detail, and your tires rotated here.
We're past 1:30, Glenda.
Yes.
Could I just butt in here? Alan,
Yeah,
could
go.
you stay?
You.
If you have some questions, we have more questions. Could you stay and just answer them for us?
Sure.
Okay, very good. I'd like to wrap up. We have just identified with some of the meetings coming up. That's the September the 16th is the board meeting. September the 17th is our clay shoot, very important. And on the 18th is our holiday party. That's December the 18th, the holiday party. I'd like Max, if you could kind of give us a rundown on our program for next week.
Yeah, we're going to continue on this theme. As luck would have it, we managed to land another spokesman for homelessness. Max Moscow is with the Other Ones Foundation, TOOF, and Esperanza Community is a state-sanctioned homeless encampment here in Austin. And he's kind of comes from being homeless himself at one point and turned things around. So a little bit different approach. And I know he knows and has a lot of respect for Alan. And Alan, I certainly invite you to attend next week's meeting if you would like. I would love to have you. And everybody, hope to see you next week.
If I come, Mac, I will heckle Max from the cheap seats on the Zoom deal.
Mac,
I love those guys. They're great. Yeah.
Mac, thanks again. You did a great presentation, great job, and great program. And John, thank you very much for bringing this to our attention. I've got a little note here for one particular individual, and that is Mark. You had a guest, and I didn't forget you. Is your guest? Oh, there she is. Go ahead and introduce your guest.
Yes, if you don't already know her, this is my wife, Kathy. She's here. So there you go.
Welcome.
And Jerry, we're so happy that you came, and please join us again.
Okay, folks, if you want to just have a few more questions for Alan, go ahead.
No.
Meeting's adjourned.
Meeting's adjourned, yes.
We need to adjourn? Oh, okay, we adjourn.
I have a question.
Yeah, Norman.
Hi there. I'm very interested in any kind of a group housing as such. I'm on the board of our HOA of 24 houses here. And I was wondering what kind of security do you have within the community? Is there a need for it? Do you have a volunteer committee? What types of things do you have to deal with? And what type of interface, if any, do you have then with police authorities, or do you basically handle everything internally?
Well, we like to tell people that we have 300 full-time security agents out here.
Yeah. Gotcha.
But we have no paid security staff. We do have lots of cameras, have about 300 cameras on the property. We don't monitor the cameras, but when an incident occurs, we have the ability to go and retrieve that footage. We have a phenomenal relationship with the Travis County Sheriff's Department, Sheriff Sally Hernandez, and we meet regularly with those guys. They're friends of ours. They're out here. We get plenty of 911 calls, both medical and police. Most of it is just for pretty trite, stuff. People are yelling and screaming at each other, and then they call 911, and so that's the world that we live in today, man. The cell phone is put a pretty big strain on 911. But again, it's very rare that we're going to have anything that would even remotely be major. I can say that over 6 years, we've only had really one, what I would consider a major, event out here involving 2 people, and one of them will probably die in prison as a result of that deal. So
I might add that interestingly, though, from our perspective, the biggest problem we have is from people outside of our community. And at times homeless living under the underpasses that come in and take a swim or go streaking in the pool, are kids that come in and they do a little bit of vandalism or break-in. But our primary problem is from the outside, not so much the inside.
Well, Norman, I can tell you that in the 6 years that we've been open, there have been 0 reported crimes by anyone from this neighborhood and the neighborhood next door. And there have been 10, reported by the neighbors next door in our deal. And it's almost always the kids. They have stolen golf carts. They stole and totaled a Polaris Ranger, a $13,000 Polaris Ranger. Bicycles, and it's honestly, as a former juvenile delinquent myself, I have fun chasing after those kids. So
well, we'll have to hire you on the side too then.
Yeah, I have some intel from my childhood that helps me out today.
I understand. Thank you.
I have a question about the tour on Saturday. When we come into your facility, where do we go?
Well, you will turn in off of Hogeye Road onto Goodness Way, and you'll take an immediate right onto Pat Patterson Way. And in about 2 blocks, at the corner of Pat Patterson Way and Gospel Con Carne is a little white house. We're going to meet there, and you will park across the street in the parking lot.
Okay, will you have signs to help us?
No, but
we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
By the way, thank you so much for what you have done. I've followed you since you started Under the Bridges.
Thank you.
It's been an inspiration.
Thank you.
Sid, there's information in the email invitation to this meeting about where to park and where the meeting is on Saturday.
Under you, Mark, or the Lions Club? I couldn't find it.
The Lions Club should have sent you an email. So if you look for that, it went out yesterday afternoon about
Yesterday.
12:30.
There's a difference.
Yeah.
Have any further questions?
I was wondering, if we can't make it tomorrow, is there, or when you're doing the Saturday, sorry, is there an opportunity to take a tour at another time?
Oh, yes, there are. There are 3 public tours a week. I think those are listed on our website. We limit those to 7 people at a time while we're in the middle of this COVID deal. And so go check out our website and take a peek. I can't tell you exactly where that is on our website right now, but I think it's fairly accessible.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question.
Yes.
Tell us about your visitors. You have groups like Boy Scouts and people like that come in to get more information. Tell us about those.
Well, we love having people out here. We welcome. I'm a big scouter. My 2 sons were Eagle Scouts. We do 1 million scout projects out here, Eagle Scout projects. We love the Girl Scout projects. We love the bar and bar mitzvah projects. But we love companies coming out and doing serve events. Pre-pandemic, we averaged nearly 300 people a week coming out here.
Wow.
It dropped, and now we're trying to, get those numbers back up to try to get the world back to normal.
Any further questions? Well, thanks again, Alan and John, for bringing Alan along. This is fantastic, and what you do out there is just amazing, just amazing.
Well, thank you. Appreciate it. Look forward to seeing you all on Saturday.
You bet.
Bye-bye.
All right, y'all take care.
Yeah. We'll see you next week, folks.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye now.